Alright guys, John here from Dan&Jon Motorsports, and today I just wanted to make a little video on some of the common problems that you're going to run into when either you're trying to buy an Integra or just during the ownership of an Integra. Some problems you're probably going to have to deal with. They're really common, so we're just going to go through them. So the first one I have is oil leaks and using oil. Obviously, the higher mileage you go for, the more likely there's going to be a leak. It's a Honda, so oil leaks are pretty common in all Honda engines, as well as using oil, especially the higher mileage you get. It's just kind of how it is, and it's not really something that you want to stay away from if it uses oil, but definitely you want to think about that when you're factoring in price and stuff like that. Like, if something's using a crazy amount of oil, then you're going to want to definitely kind of, be wary of it, and maybe the reasons why it might be using oil, but it's pretty common, so I won't be too worried about it unless it's like a crazy amount, The second thing is radiators. I've heard crazy things. Like, I've heard people in like 200,000 miles have gone through like 5 radiators, but I'm going to be honest, I think that's more the way you drive it. Like, if you're crazy banging off the rev limiter, you're going to go through a lot of radiators. But as long as you drive with sense, you're probably going to only go through maybe like, I don't want to quote anything, but maybe 3. I've heard many people have at least replaced the radiator once. I haven't since I got this car. I've only had it for like 2 weeks though, and it's got 220,000 miles, so I'm assuming it was already replaced. Alright, next I have water leaks. So right here, the door sill, they're prone to water leaks. The hatch, they're prone to water leaks. Mine don't. There is a water leak somewhere though. My floors get soaked when it rains. And of course the sunroof drain lines, which happens to any sunroof, not just an Acura problem, but common on a lot of cars with sunroofs. But they get clogged, the drains, and basically you have to like get an air compressor and blow them out. But on an Integra, you can't see the drains from the outside, so you have to actually take out the headliner. It's a real pain in the ass. But yeah, that's another problem. We're not gonna spend too much time on that. But next we're gonna have first and reverse, and this is actually an Acura problem. But I also had this in the last vehicle I had, which was actually a Ford Ranger. But regardless, anyways, back to the point. First and reverse can sometimes be really hard to get into. My Integra, I don't really experience this too much. I have a short throw shifter, but I'm just getting used to that. But yeah, I don't have this problem, but I've heard of it. Really common. It's really common. Sorry, but to not be able to get into reverse, and you just kind of have to press in the clutch and kind of mess with it a little, and it'll go in. But I'm not really sure why that is, but it's just a thing. It doesn't really, not really a bad thing, but it's just something to look forward to, I guess. When you're getting an Integra, it's probably going to happen to you. The next thing's going to be distributor caps. I have not seen a single Integra that has the stock distributor caps. Usually people go with MSD. They're cheap, they're reliable, they're well known. Mine obviously has that done. But yeah, the distributor caps tend to go really early, so at this point in its life, honestly, Integra's getting pretty old at this point, so it's probably replaced by the time you get one. But if it isn't, it's going to need it. More than definitely, literally definitely, that's for sure gonna happen. So it's cheap to do and easy to do, so don't worry about it, but that's something you gotta look into. Alright, the next thing's gonna be suspension bushings, just all the way around, all the suspension bushings. The cars are getting old, what can I say? It's an Integra, it's a pretty old car, it's over 20 years old now. So the bushings are gonna get really bad, and it's gonna make it ride pretty poorly and sound really bad. Mine actually has polyurethane bushings all the way around, and I heard it's really hard to do, so I'm glad I didn't have to do that. But that's something that you're probably going to have to deal with unless you have like a mint Integra that you're buying that's just been sitting in the garage all this time, and they've been like dressing the seals and stuff, but I doubt it. So you're probably going to have to deal with that if it hasn't been done already, or you're just going to be driving around with a creaky Integra like 99% of other Integra owners. So another thing is just interior rattles in general. Again, they're old cars. They're kind of, I won't want to say cheaply made, but yeah, they're cheaply made. The interior at least. Mine doesn't rattle too bad, but like, definitely the door handles. I don't know if you can hear that, but I'm just pushing on them. This one isn't quite as bad, the dash really doesn't rattle that much, but, I hear it comes a lot in the back, more than anything. I can't really testify to that, but it definitely does have a lot of rattles, so that's something that you're gonna look forward to. And that's all the problems I actually could think of off the top of my head today, but there's lots more, I'm sure. Well, I know there is more, but so yeah, those are just the common problems to look for when either you're during your ownership of an Integra, or if you're looking to buy an Integra. These are things to look for. along with, all your basic other things that you want to look for when you're buying a car. Alright, well, thank you guys for watching, and catch you in the next video.